Hi, my name is Melinda Hart. I am an independent demonstrator with Stampin' Up. Today, I'm going to be talking about productivity when it comes to crafting and how to increase productivity time and what you can get done whenever you're working on a project. This is Stamping with Heart. This is my independent crafting business, and it took a lot of time, energy, focus, you name it. It was it was work to get to the place where I could prioritize and incorporate crafting back into my life again. So a few years ago, I had a few major changes. I had changed where I lived, I had changed jobs, and I had also just had a baby. And as you know, one or any of those things can affect your schedule. I was trying to adjust. I was really struggling. So I started researching time management and productivity. And what I had discovered was that all of those things were applying not just to my daily life, which I was really trying to figure out how to do it all, just like everybody is. But every time I would do some type of research on how to manage my time or how to manage productivity, crafting was always in the front of my mind because it was something that I had stopped doing completely when I was trying to adjust to all of my new lifestyle changes. So when I actually did sit down and start carving in time that I didn't know that I had into my schedule, I thought, if I ever get to the place where I have a business, if I ever get to the place where I am actually producing content and making videos and sharing it, because there were so many videos that I watched, there are so many free resources and downloads that I downloaded from other people to inspire me to get to the place where I am today, so that I can now do this and share it with you. So if there is anybody watching this, just know it is possible. You can do it. It does get better. And no matter what, no matter how overwhelming everything seems, it will pass, or you will find a solution to the problem if you're looking for it. And I think that's the number one thing that I want to say. You absolutely can do it, even when you have those moments where you feel like you can't breathe, or those moments where you're literally collapsing and falling asleep and your whole body hurts when you're just trying to do your everyday tasks, or when you're dragging yourself out of bed in the morning and you're just trying to get the laundry done, you're trying to get a good job, a good work day in, you're trying to be the best mom that you can be, you're trying to be the best for your family, you're trying to make sure that there's food and that the schedules are coordinated and that appointments are actually being met and bills are actually being paid. And that can be so much that everything else that you love or enjoy can take a back seat. So to get yourself back to a place where you can actually be productive in the craft room again, it's a big deal if it's important to you, if it's something that you really love. Crafting is something that I'm really passionate about. I really, really love it. And it has a very calming effect on me, which I need because I am a person who can get caught up in things. So when I need that 15, 20 minutes to just calm down and just focus on one thing, crafting is a go-to for me, and maybe it is for you too. Maybe you're not getting anything done and you're really struggling trying to figure out how you can do that. Maybe you used to go to a crafting class and you don't go anymore. Maybe it's something that you used to do on weekends, but now something else has taken over that time slot. Maybe you've taken on new responsibilities, or you've also had lifestyle changes. Whatever the circumstances may be, it is possible to do the things that you love while you're doing all of the things that you have to do every day. So let me just walk you through some of the things that really helped me. Okay, so here are my top 5 tips for how to increase productivity so that you can get more crafting projects done. The first one is the tiniest steps make such a huge difference over time. So what do I mean by that? If you need to make 30 Christmas cards and you're going to send these 30 Christmas cards to your friends and your family, but you know you cannot sit down and make 30 cards all at one time. It's just not going to happen with the schedule that you have. You can take one tiny step. Just do that step and move on to the next thing. So stamp 30 sentiments, whatever the sentiments are going to be on your card. Or, you know, if you are using a punch for something, if you're going to punch out Christmas trees, punch out 30 Christmas trees and be done. Tip number 2, if you are trying to increase your productivity so that you can get more crafting projects done, is create a plan for the products that you buy so that you ensure that you will actually use them. Now, this is a 2-step thing. Some crafters are collectors. They just love to collect it. They love to keep it. It really becomes like a keepsake, a collector's item. In that case, if that's what you enjoy doing, I would not stop you from doing that. If you're buying the product with the intention of using it, but it's not actually getting used, then I would suggest tip number 2, which is to create a plan for how you're going to incorporate the products that you just purchased so that you actually can make stuff with it. It makes a big difference because when you get very excited, if you've just gotten a catalog and you're going through it and you're making your to-buy list, your shopping list, and you're like, I have to have this, I have to have this, I have to have this, that's great, especially if you can go ahead and get in like a good order, a nice haul. The important thing with that is if you are getting more than just a few things in an order, they can kind of sit off to the side and not get used. So if you create a plan for how you're going to use those things, then you have a much better chance of success with getting more things done and actually using the products that you've purchased. Tip number 3, if you want to increase productivity to get more crafting projects done is, and I know this is going to make some people cringe, have a clear workspace somewhere in your home at all times. That can be a tall order, especially if you are a passionate crafter, because when you're in the middle of a project and you can't necessarily finish it up, or you still have the project from last time and it's all over your desk or your workspace or your studio, you're less likely to get something done. So it's so important that even if your main table that you use for your crafting projects is cluttered up, or if you have something going on and you don't want to interrupt that process, you have layouts for your scrapbook pages going there, that's fine, but make sure that you have a backup space so that if the inspiration strikes, or if you have done step 2 and you have a plan for how you're going to use your products and you only have 5 minutes to get some stuff stamped and then come back to it later so you could do the next step in the process, if you have that clear workspace, you are much more likely to actually get that step done, which means you've already increased your productivity, you're already getting things done, you're already using those new products, or you're using products that you've had in your stamp space for years, but you've actually gotten it out and you started using it because you created a plan for it. So have that clear workspace. It makes all of the difference in the world. Okay, so tip number 4, if you want to increase your productivity in your craft space, get more crafting projects done, is to have a project bin or a baggie for works in progress that don't get finished. And this will all tie in together. But let's just say you have a designated bin for clearing your space, right? So you really do want to have a clear workspace, but you don't have time to do a major cleanup and put everything back in its little nook or cranny. If you take that designated bin and you just sweep everything into that bin, you can always come back to it later, but you have that clear space as a backup if you need it later. So 3 and 4 kind of go hand in hand, where if you create that designated in progress bin, you can go ahead, start working on a project. You don't have time to finish the project. You don't want to put all of the pieces involved in that project back to their individual spaces. Keep it all together in your bin. And then when you want to come back and work on that project, you have it all ready to go. Tip number 5, if you want to increase productivity with your crafting projects, use a timer. Use a timer. This, more than any other tip, has completely changed how I do everything. And I really mean everything. Using a timer, especially if you are a person who struggles with time management, if you struggle getting somewhere on time, or if you struggle with figuring out exactly how much time it's going to get from get to point A to point B. If you're creating a plan, but that plan is never actually working out because the timing is off, use a timer. Use a timer for everything, and you will have a much better understanding of how much time you're spending doing things, including crafting in your craft space. Let's say you only have 10 minutes to craft today. It's all you're going to get, for the day, but you want to do something, anything. Set the timer for 10 minutes, go into your craft space, take out that in progress work bin, and do the next step in the bin. So you may not exactly know the design or exactly how your cards are going to come together, but you want Christmas trees on them, or you are behind, or that you're going to need at least 20 birthday cards throughout the year. And maybe you're going to customize those birthday cards to the people that you love as you give them out, but you're going to use the same birthday sentiment for a bunch of those cards. Stamp out all of those sentiments, give yourself that 10 minutes to do it, sweep everything right back into your in progress bin, and move on with your day. Your timer is going to help you understand exactly how long it takes you to stamp 20 of the same sentiment, to punch out 20 or 30 of the same Christmas tree or different Christmas trees, circles, rectangles, squares, tags, whatever it is that you're working on. If you don't know exactly how much time it takes to get one of those steps done, having that understanding after you start using a timer is going to completely change the way that you get your projects accomplished. I started making leaps and bounds of progress when I started timing myself doing things. And if there was something that was taking a really long time, I was trying to figure out why it was taking so long. Is it something that should take that long? Or is there something else that I could do to make it go along a little bit faster? And the reason that I was asking myself that question was because I had almost no time in my day to get anything done. it was important to me to make handmade cards. That's like my number one thing, or the handmade cards for people. It was really important to me to make those handmade cards, and yet I was behind giving anybody anything because I couldn't get the projects made. So instead of me just running to the store and buying a store-bought card, I'm thinking, I have all this crafting product sitting here. I've spent all of this money on it. I know that this person loves doing this type of sport, and I have this stamp set that can make that for them, and I have no time to do it. So I knew I had to make changes, and the timer was the most effective way of me changing the way that I spent my time creating my crafting projects. So if you just start experimenting with that, I think you're going to see major improvements in how you are doing with productivity with your crafting projects. It's really amazing. Free resource that I'm going to have available in the details. If you click the link below, you can get the free PDF download. And what this one is called is the Annual Must-Have Cards Planner. So let me just show you this here. Hopefully you can see that. If not, I'll insert a still image of it. But so what is this? What did I design this for? So in terms of, if you really think about what it is to increase your productivity, the first thing that you really need to know is your plan. So it's one thing if you want to sit down and you want to work on your personal, crafting projects. If you're making decor items for your home, you can plan that out, of course. But if you're a card maker and you know that you're doing either handmade cards or projects, or treat boxes or something like that for the people that you love, this is designed to help you get down on paper, if you don't already have it written down somewhere, all of the birthdays of the most important people in your life, the time, you write down their dates, the months when you need to have them done, and that way you can have them ready to go. So if you create your annual must-have cards list, then you can actually start to create a plan based on your list. These are all the birthdays that I have in January. These are all of the birthdays that I have in February, March, April, May. And this is the plan of how I'm going to get those projects done. Now, the goal here, and this is even, I'm including myself in this. This is a challenge for me too, is to actually get up to a year ahead with my projects. So I have an entire box, a Rolodex of personalized cards for all of the people that I love in all of their special occasions a year out. So if I get that done, I will be doing a video on that. And that is a goal of mine. I plan on achieving that goal. But at this moment, as I'm recording this video, talking to you, I am still working on improving with getting those things out in the mail on time. So this is something that we can go on a journey with together, but if you want the free resource, it's available for you. Okay, so those are my 5 tips to increasing productivity so that you can get more crafting projects done in your crafting space or studio or room or she shed or wherever it is that you're getting your projects made. Here is a bonus tip, which I've pretty much already echoed throughout this video, but it's to work in small increments. I think that this is a more important tip if you are really restricted in terms of time in a day. So if you know you're really only going to get about 30 minutes in an entire week to get any crafting done, to get anything done, then you're going to want to use that time wisely. So if you work in short increments, if you set that timer, if you get out that progress, the project bin that has your in progress project inside, if you already have that clean workspace, you're way ahead of the game in terms of getting that next step done than if you have to pull everything out and put everything back, or if you're pulling things out and putting them on a workspace that is already cluttered. So this is what I mean by really understanding your time, by having a designated place where you can put that project that you're working on, so that if you are working on it in small increments, I'm going to work 10 minutes on Monday and I'm going to get everything stamped that's going to go onto that card. On Wednesday, I'm going to have another 10 minutes where I'm actually going to cut all my card stock to the size that it needs to be cut to. I'm going to cut all my card bases. I need 10 of them. So I'm going to go ahead and cut those 10 card bases and score them, and I'm going to put them in my project bin. And then on Friday, that last 10 minutes that I have for the 30 minutes in my week, I'm actually going to assemble everything, get everything adhered to the card, add maybe any little extras that have to go onto it if you have a little special embellishment that you want to add to the card, and I'm going to get those cards mailed. So that's how you can start to get your crafting time back if you're really struggling with it. If 30 minutes in a week is still too much for you, start with 5. What can I do in 5 minutes instead of there's no way I'm going to get this done. You know, there's no way. Even imagining this, like, I really love this stamp set that I just bought. I love this bundle and I can't wait to use it, but I just don't have any time to use it. Or I'm not going to be able to go and sit for 2 hours in a crafting session with my friends. So how can I get this done? Work in small increments. So hopefully that's a great bonus tip for you. I really hope that you enjoyed this video. If you enjoy this type of content, please like the video so that I have the feedback from you. Leave any comments. Is this something that you struggle with too? Let me know. I'm really interested to know if other people struggle with this, because when I was struggling with it, I really didn't have anybody to talk to about it. And when I did finally make the leap to join Stampin' Up and started getting into the online communities, I felt like a completely new person, because all of a sudden I was communicating with people who were doing the same things that I was doing, who were having the same issues, and who were overcoming those things by making crafting a priority. So if that's you, definitely let me know in the comments. I would appreciate it so much. You can find me across social media on YouTube, Stamping with Heart. If you haven't already subscribed, please subscribe to my channel. If you click the bell, you can get notifications anytime I have a new video. On Facebook, I have a business page, Stamping with Heart, like the business page. That's where you're going to find a lot of the photos, a lot of Facebook Lives where I do different crafting projects, but I'm going to be sharing more content like this too. So I really appreciate any feedback that you have for me, and I'll see you in the next video. Thank you so much, and you have a great day.